For 78-year-old Asada, the decision to move in with her daughter felt like the natural next step, a reward after a lifetime of sacrifice. She had raised Sakiko with unwavering love, given her every opportunity, and always put family first. So when she packed her bags and left her small apartment, she believed she was stepping into a home filled with warmth, gratitude, and belonging. But just 1 year later, she was leaving again. This time, not with hope, but with heartbreak. What went so wrong? Why would a mother walk away from the very family she had devoted her entire life to? As we unravel Asada's story, you may find echoes of your own experiences, or even warnings for the future. Stay with me, because the truth behind her choice may change the way you think about family forever. If you are not subscribed, subscribe and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. A life built on sacrifice. Let's start at the beginning. Asada's life was defined by duty, devotion, and sacrifice. Born into a world where responsibility often outweighed personal ambition, she learned early that love sometimes meant putting others first. While her peers married young and built families of their own, Asada's path was different. She spent her early adulthood caring for her aging parents, tending to their every need with patience and quiet resilience. It wasn't until she was 37, a late age for marriage in her time, that she finally allowed herself to think about her future. When she met her husband, it felt like a long-awaited turning point, a chance to finally build a life of her own. A year later, their daughter Sakiko was born, and with her arrival, Asada's world shifted once again. She poured everything into her child, determined to give her the security and opportunities she had never known. She and her husband lived modestly, carefully budgeting their earnings to ensure Sakiko's future. Late at night, Asada would sit by the dim glow of a lamp, flipping through parenting books, searching for ways to be the best mother possible. "I didn't want her to struggle like we did," she often said. Sakiko excelled in school, and with every high mark and teacher's praise, Asada's sacrifices felt justified. But then, Sakiko set her sights on a university in Tokyo. Asada's heart clenched. She had hoped her daughter would stay close. Still, she couldn't hold her back. She waved from the train station as Sakiko disappeared into the distance, pride and sorrow tangled together. Years passed, calls grew infrequent, and then Sakiko introduced Kentaro, the man she would marry. Tragedy struck when Asada's husband died suddenly, leaving her alone in a silent home. After months of grief, she called Sakiko, her voice trembling. "I'm lonely." Without hesitation, her daughter replied, "Come live with us, Mom." And just like that, Asada found a new purpose, this time within the warmth of her growing family. The dream of togetherness meets reality. When Asada stepped off the train in Tokyo, her heart fluttered between excitement and apprehension. The neon lights, the endless rush of people, the towering buildings, it all felt so different from the peaceful, familiar streets of her hometown. But she wasn't here to sightsee. She was here to help her daughter. Stepping into Sakiko's modest 3 LDK apartment, a compact space meant for a small family, not an extended one, she felt both warmth and unease. There were her daughter, son-in-law Kentaro, and their 2 little children, all waiting to welcome her into this new chapter of life. At first, everything felt like a fresh start, almost like a second chance at motherhood. Asada quickly took on the role of caretaker, waking up early to prepare breakfast, picking up scattered toys, and wiping down kitchen counters. All the little things she knew would ease Sakiko's burden. Her daughter, balancing the relentless demands of work and motherhood, often flashed her a tired but grateful smile. "Mom, you're a lifesaver," she'd whisper, and those simple words wrapped around Asada's heart like a warm embrace. But soon, cracks started to appear, small at first, then widening into deep chasms. Kentaro, exhausted from work, would plop onto the couch in the evenings, eyes glued to his phone, completely oblivious to the whirlwind of chaos around him. Asada watched in growing frustration as Sakiko darted around, cooking, cleaning, chasing after the children, while her husband barely lifted a finger. One evening, unable to hold back, she casually suggested, "Kentaro, "Why don't you help Sakiko with dinner?" His response was swift, almost dismissive, but it landed like a slap. "Men earn, women manage the house. Besides, you're here, right?" The words lodged themselves in her chest like a thorn. Was that all he saw her as? A built-in housekeeper, an unpaid nanny? She swallowed her frustration, unwilling to cause a scene, but the unease settled deep into her bones. As weeks turned into months, the tension in the apartment thickened like a storm cloud refusing to break. She saw it in the dark shadows beneath Sakiko's eyes, in the way her shoulders slumped under exhaustion, in the way she flinched ever so slightly when Kentaro's tone turned sharp. The love and laughter that had once filled this home were fading, replaced by stress, unspoken resentment, and an unbearable loneliness that gnawed at Asada's soul. One night, as she folded the laundry, she overheard a hushed argument from behind closed doors. "Your mom being here makes it hard to relax," Kentaro muttered. The words stung more than she expected. Was she a burden? Had she overstayed her welcome? She had come to help, to make life easier for Sakiko, but now it felt like she was an unwelcome guest in the very home she had helped them secure. Then, one evening, Kentaro dropped a bombshell. Sitting across from her, his expression unusually polite, he cleared his throat and said, "My parents aren't doing well. I'd like them to move in with us." For a moment, Asada felt like the air had been sucked out of the room. The apartment barely fit 5 people. Where would 2 more go? Unless she left. "Don't you think it's natural to care for your parents?" he asked, his gaze unwavering. Asada swallowed hard. Of course it was natural. She had done the same for her parents. But why did it feel like he was making her choose between dignity and displacement? The unspoken truth loomed between them. He wanted her gone. That night, muffled shouts spilled from Sakiko and Kentaro's bedroom. "Mom belongs here. She helped us buy this place." Sakiko's voice trembled with emotion. "What about my parents? I've put them off too long." Kentaro shot back, his voice laced with frustration. Asada sat alone by the window, staring at the city's glittering skyline. This was their home, their life. But where did she fit in? She had thought she was building a new sense of belonging, yet it had all crumbled like sand slipping through her fingers. The next morning, she made her decision. "I'm going back home," she told Sakiko softly over breakfast. Her daughter's eyes filled with tears. "Why?" Kentaro didn't mean it. Asada smiled gently, though her heart ached. "You have your family. And I have my life too." If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. She had come to Tokyo full of hope, believing in the dream of togetherness. But sometimes, love meant knowing when to step away. Sometimes, it meant reclaiming yourself, even when it hurt. Returning to herself. Back in her small hometown house, Asada stepped into a new chapter of her life. The air carried a stale, forgotten scent, and the silence wrapped around her like an old, unfamiliar friend. Yet, as she softly murmured, "I'm home," to the empty rooms, a quiet peace settled within her. She had spent years giving, first to her husband, then to her daughter, Sakiko. Now, with only her 70,000 yen pension, she was left to build a life on her terms. It wasn't glamorous, but it was hers. Mornings became a ritual of slow walks in the park, where the rustling trees seemed to whisper encouragement. Afternoons brought conversations at the local seniors club, a space where others, too, had stories of change and resilience. One decision anchored her newfound independence. She stopped sending money to Sakiko. It wasn't easy, but it was necessary. For decades, Asada had prioritized her daughter's needs, often at the expense of her own. Now, she realized, "I need to live for me." The calls from Sakiko continued, always filled with worry, sometimes laced with subtle invitations. "Maybe we could try again," she'd suggest, her voice dipping into uncertainty. But Asada, having spent years bending to the needs of others, remained steady. "You have your life and I have mine," she responded each time, her words firm yet kind. Leaving hadn't been just about Kentaro's harsh words or the cramped, stifling apartment. It had been a deeper realization. Decades of sacrifice did not guarantee a permanent place in her daughter's world. And Asada wasn't alone in this truth. Studies from Japan's National Institute of Population and Social Security Research reveal a dramatic shift. In 1980, over 50% of households embraced multigenerational living. Today, that number has dwindled below 15%. Sociologists like Dr. Emiko Okiai point to modern pressures, smaller homes, dual income demands, and longer lifespans, as forces reshaping family dynamics. Asada's story, though personal, reflects a broader reality. Across Japan, countless parents and children wrestle with the same unspoken question. When is it time to let go? Lessons we can learn. So, what can we take from Asada's journey? Her story offers powerful insights about love, independence, and the delicate balance between giving to others and caring for oneself. Here's a clear breakdown of the lessons her experience reveals. 1. Love doesn't always mean living together. The idea of multiple generations sharing a home may sound warm and ideal, but in reality, it doesn't always foster closeness. Asada's life with her daughter and son-in-law proved that living under one roof can sometimes drive people apart rather than bring them together. Kentaro's rigid, outdated views clashed with Asada's quiet hopes for understanding, creating emotional distance despite their physical proximity. Are you assuming that being close to someone requires living in the same space? In truth, meaningful relationships can thrive, even flourish, when given room to breathe. 2. Save something for yourself. For years, Asada poured everything she had, her time, energy, and even her limited finances, into supporting her daughter's household. But in doing so, she neglected her own needs. This pattern is not unique. Studies show that approximately 20% of Japan's elderly population lives in poverty, often because they've overextended themselves for their children. It's a sobering reminder that while generosity is admirable, preserving your well-being is equally vital. What are you holding back for your future? 3. Independence breeds dignity. When Asada returned to her small home, it wasn't luxury that gave her comfort, it was the freedom to shape her days. With modest means, she found a renewed sense of dignity. Imagine a tree. Its roots ground it firmly, but its branches stretch outward, seeking light and space. In the same way, independence allows us to grow while staying connected to those we love. How might standing on your own strengthen you? 4. Distance can deepen bonds. Oddly enough, stepping away from her daughter brought Asada and Sakiko closer. Their monthly phone calls fostered warmth without the strain of daily friction. Could giving someone space strengthen your connection? Later, I'll share the simple plan Asada followed to reclaim her life, practical steps anyone can adopt. But first, ask yourself, are you sacrificing too much for others, hoping it will pay off in ways it may never truly deliver? A new way forward. Asada's story reveals a deeper truth. The traditional script of lifelong parental duty is unraveling. In today's world, where people live longer and personal space is shrinking, the old model of co-residence is becoming harder to sustain. Consider this. Japan's average life expectancy now stretches to 84 years, meaning parents and children may share decades of adulthood. Meanwhile, urban living spaces are tight, with the average apartment measuring just 60 square meters. These realities make constant togetherness not only challenging but, for many, emotionally draining. Yet, Asada's journey shows that change doesn't have to be bleak. In her modest home, she found joy in simple, meaningful acts, planting vegetables in her small garden, sharing laughter at the local seniors club, and savoring the quiet peace of having her own space. These everyday pleasures underscored a profound truth. You don't need much to live well. Her secret? Balance. Asada's life became a delicate yet rewarding tightrope walk, preserving her independence while maintaining a loving, though distant, connection with her daughter. This balance allowed her to reclaim her dignity without severing family ties. It's a lesson that resonates beyond her experience. Whether you're a parent, a child, or find yourself navigating both roles, Asada's story urges us to reflect. How do we love others without losing ourselves? Her solution wasn't complicated, but it was powerful. Live simply, save a little, and build a community outside of family. She realized that relying solely on family for emotional or financial support can be risky and often unfulfilling. Instead, by fostering friendships and prioritizing her well-being, she crafted a life that was both independent and connected. And here's the best part: you can start today. Take one small step this week. It could be as simple as joining a local group, setting aside a small amount of money for yourself, or making time for an activity that brings you joy. These tiny changes can lead to a profound shift in how you experience life. As Asada's story shows, true fulfillment often comes from finding the courage to prioritize yourself while still holding space for those you love. Asada's departure wasn't an ending, it was a fresh beginning. Her story challenges us to rethink what family truly means. It's not just about sharing a home, it's about sharing respect, understanding, and space to grow. Her journey proves that you can love others while still honoring your independence. So, what about you? What lesson from Asada's story speaks to you the most? Is it the importance of saving for yourself? The freedom found in independence? Or the idea that distance can strengthen bonds? I want to hear from you. Comment below and share one thing you've learned from Asada's journey, and how you plan to apply it in your own life. Your insight could inspire someone else on a similar path. If you found value in this video, please leave your comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Tap the bell icon so you never miss a story that dives deep into life's biggest questions. Let's keep exploring together. There's always more to uncover in the next one. See you there.